Hi, Paul Mascetta here with theinfluentialmind.com, and today I want to share with you the cornerstone strategy for negotiation. It's called aiming for the middle ground. In 1996, the Teamster Union of UPS was negotiating with the logistics giant for better employment opportunities. You see, UPS was using part-time workers to save money on full-time benefits. Well, the union obviously wanted to kind of counteract this and negotiate it and make it go away. They knew that they were in for a battle. So they did several important things to prepare. And the first thing that they did, and this is something that you should do, is they performed extensive research on UPS. And basically, they studied things and they gathered information like how the company was hiring, how many part-time employees they had, and how many of those part-time employees were being labeled or given a regular or full-time status. The second thing that they did was they shared the findings. So they distilled the most important insights that they found during their research, and they communicated it to all of the union members so everyone was on the same page. And then the third thing that they did was they brought the case public, because before strikes, public support was huge. So they knew that bringing this public and gaining the support of the public would increase the stress on UPS and cause them to kind of be in a position of weakness when it came to the negotiation strategy that they were going to use. Now, here's the thing. What's even more important than the objective matter that we look at here, right? So the black and white is that they gathered the intelligence, they took the most important parts of the information, they communicated it to everyone so everyone would be on the same page, right? That's like a simple formula that they used. But if we look beyond that, if we look beyond the black and white of what they did, we really see where the power and where the benefit came to the union in performing those steps. So the first thing is they gained knowledge, right? And what happens is when you gain knowledge, your fear begins to dissipate. You see, the more you know about the other party that you're negotiating with, and the more you know about the terms that you're negotiating for, the less fearful you are when you actually enter into the negotiation. So just that step of gathering the intelligence and gathering the information, yes, they're going to use that to their advantage, but just the simple act of doing that almost mentally prepared them to go into the negotiation with less fear and more confidence. And that's a very important step in the process. So here's what they got. Here's what they wound up getting. Their first big concession was that UPS decided to provide subcontract work in some areas, which meant that in certain areas, certain union members would get bigger wages. But you know what? The union refused it, because they knew that if they accepted it, it would mean that only a few areas would gain regular employment, and that wasn't good enough for them. So in the end, they fought a little bit harder, and here's what they wound up with. First, 10,000 part-time workers now became regular employees. Number two, 10,000 employment opportunities were given to union and non-union workers. Number three, union workers now enter jobs that were dominated by technology, which made their jobs a lot easier. Four, part-time employees were given higher wages. That's always good. Number 5, they upgraded old vehicles. Number 6, they got a lot of stuff out of this negotiation. Number 6, their medical leaves were increased. So maternity, paternity, medical leaves, things like that were increased. And the mandatory overtime was gone. And they achieved all of this because they aimed for the middle ground. And aiming for the middle ground, as I said, is a cornerstone strategy in negotiation. But here's the thing. The perception of the middle ground changes based on each party's knowledge of what's at stake. So the middle ground, let's say you have, if we're just using a roundabout number here, if the amount of knowledge on the topic is 100% and you have 50% of the knowledge and they have 50% of the knowledge at what's at stake, the middle ground would be 50%. It would be even. But if you only knew 25% of the terms and what's at stake and all the data that's involved, then you would only be able to negotiate a middle ground of 25%, giving them an advantage of 75%. So it's very important that you do 3 things when you negotiate and when you aim for the middle ground. The first thing that you want to do is you want to always be aware of the other party's emotional state, and you want to be aware of where you stand in the negotiation process, and you want to know where you stand in terms of stakes, what you bring to the table, what they bring to the table, and have as much knowledge as possible on what's at stake. The second thing is, when you do this, you want to create the perception of control. And what I mean by that is you want to make the other party think that they are in control at all times, even though you're utilizing negotiation strategies. When people feel like they're in control, their defense mechanisms drop. When they feel like they're losing control, they raise them. So if you ever make someone feel like they're losing control, they're going to negotiate harder with you simply for the fact that they feel like they're losing control. And that's kind of a stupid reason to lose a negotiation or to have to fight a battle that you don't necessarily have to fight. And then the third thing is you want to utilize emotion followed up with logic. Never walk into any negotiation thinking that you're going to negotiate strictly based on the premise of logic. So don't try to logically negotiate with people. Walk into it knowing that 90% of the negotiation is going to come from their emotions, and then they're going to use the logic to justify the emotional decision. So you want to tap into their emotions, you want to utilize the emotion, but you also want to present your case in a way that does seem logical, so that afterwards they can logically process the decision that they made. And you do this by aiming for the middle ground. If you like this information and you want to know more, you could actually check out my new program, Maverick Negotiation. Just head over to mavericknegotiation.com. You can check it out. It comes with a full digital book and 5 audio modules, and it comes with a 1-year guarantee. So if you don't like it, you could return it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can get updates to more videos like these. I'll talk to you soon.